are now watching Animal Expedition Files.
With your favorite station, online, digital, and on your smartphone.
It's time for your favorite host.
All right, we are back. What is up, everybody, on the Animal Expedition Files? The animals so much. The last I was just on Richie and WOJO show, and yeah, it was so awesome. But stay tuned. I'm gonna take a quick little thing right here. I gotta go help my little one real quick. But yeah. I'm very excited for the show. We got a lot to talk about the WOO, and we got some news going on here. So it's going to be a really good show. I got WOJO in the back room. I know he will be here in a sec, but give me a sec here. I will be right back. But here, I'm going to play some music for you, and we'll be back right here real quick. So. Hey everybody, welcome back. Hey, sorry about that, but he was grabbing the ranch for his junk. Grabbing the ranch for his junk. I don't know. I'm sorry if I'm talking about that. Yeah, we were talking about hot wings and junk and stuff like that. So, hey everybody, welcome to the Animal Expedition Files. Hey Sam. Hey Damien. Hey Vex. What's up? What's up, Ghost Girl? What's up, y'all? I love y'all. You guys are amazing people, and can't do it without you guys here. We have a lot of good. We're gonna have a good time. It's gonna yeah. I want to show you a little something before I bring the guys on here. There's been a little thing that they've been doing here in Texas, that they've been bringing back stuff that's been extinct for thousands of years. So check this out. I know if you watch my show on Wednesday, I showed it, but I don't know if you all saw this video, but check this out. See what you think, and we'll talk about it later.
The howl of a dire wolf hasn't been heard on planet Earth for more than 10,000 years. That's because the species is extinct, or was. Colossal Biosciences is a Dallas-based company that's using genetic engineering to de-extinct long-gone species. And this is the first time Colossal's dire wolf pups, who are now 6 months old, have been seen by the public.
We thought this was a really cool way that we could create value, create impact, inspire people, and then also hopefully thoughtfully rewild some of these species.
If some of this genetic tinkering feels familiar, it's because Hollywood has been here first. And spoiler alert, we all know that didn't end well.
When you're playing with nature, nature usually wins. Nature is much more complicated than the ability of our brains to understand it.
But the team at Colossal says their mission to restore extinct species is also about stopping the disappearance of endangered ones today.
We should be giving ourselves the opportunity to see what our big brains can do to reverse some of the bad things that we've done to the world already.
Yeah, they're bringing back the dire wolf. If no one has anybody seen Games of Thrones, one of my favorite shows. If you ever seen that, that's actually a dire wolf. They're real dogs that were back, wolves that were back in the day and about tens of thousands of years ago. But these things are huge, and they brought them back. And I know people are I know everybody has their own theories about, the whole DNA stuff. It doesn't matter. It's still mixed with a dire wolf gene. So it's still going to act like a dire wolf. It's still going to be a dire wolf. It's still going to have the instinct of a dire wolf. So no matter what, it's a wolf. It's a predator, apex predator. So no matter what, you're going to be going through all that crazy stuff. But they're also talking about bringing back woolly mammoths, the dodo bird, some other, I think it's the Tasmanian devil, a whole bunch of other, and they're also thinking about bringing back dinosaurs. So that's going to be interesting, bringing back dinosaurs. So we're going to be living, Jurassic Park ages, here pretty soon in the next probably 5 to 10 years. You never know. But yeah, I don't know. It's going to be interesting. But yeah. But also, I'm going to bring WOJO on here before we go on anymore with some stuff, and we're going to have some fun and cause some trouble here. We're going to bring
What's up, everybody? Oh, welcome to the animal.
Yeah, the dire wolf is 7 feet tall, standing up. Yeah, sharp teeth. Yep, Sam it's definitely a big
Sam,
big
you know
dog.
what the problem is? This whole dire wolf thing and all these like whack jobs are out there, with their woolly mammoths, and you know what? They were cloning by drinking this. The ranch. That was the problem. Too much ranch. And instead, you got the Richie B and the WOJO on the Animal Podcast Hour. Boom! So,
we brought
the ranch.
WOJO
Let's
brought
go.
the ranch. He brought the ranch for the job.
Oh, shit. I wasn't prepared for this. Usually you think I'd be prepared for this stuff. What's up, everybody? Welcome to part 2 of the Woo!
Yeah. Hey, Richie, look at that guy. I got some ranch. Oh, my God. We're going to have some woolly mammoths and some dire wolves.
Oh, I'm glad you brought it because I'm hot.
Oh, damn. Welcome, guys. Welcome to the Animal Show.
Thank you, sir.
Oh, no. Well, I want to keep this going because what we were talking about, the echolocation, everything, just the sonar and the zap. It just, and WOJO, we were talking about it a little bit ago. You were talking about the zap here and having that experience. That's one thing that, like, I would love to have when I can for a creature like the Bigfoot, because I think it'd be pretty interesting to be able to, it's kind of like you're connecting with it, like telepathically, that's what I think what the zap is to me. I don't know, like with it, what about you guys? Like when you've had this experience with the zap, was it like a telepathic kind of connection with this creature?
Go ahead, Rich.
Well, I don't know. That's a good question. For me it was afterthought. You know what I mean? It wasn't like I felt anything like right off the bat, boom. Like it isn't like you're being struck. You know, you could feel the energy, you can hear the vibration, the humming, excuse me, feel the vibration, but you just go about your business. You know what I mean? You just go about your business,
Yeah.
and then I guess the good word to use is insidious. You know what I mean? Cunning in a sense, you know what I mean? So it kind of sneaks up on you, and then all of a sudden you're just like, what? That's what happened. It was just like within 24 hours, I was kind of stuck in my best way to put it. I was stuck in my location. I couldn't move, you know? It wasn't fun at all, you know? That's the best way I can explain it. And it's happened a couple of times. It's not just once. You don't get used to it, but you know what it is when it's hitting you. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Animal. It's pretty much what Richie says. I mean, when I felt my ears, like it went from my right to my left, and my chest just squeezing, and I felt nauseous. I thought I was going to throw up right on the spot. It's not a good feeling. I don't think, telepathy wise. I think I'd say the telepathy part, maybe like meditation, because when I was feeling sick, told Richie, I go, Richie, I go, I'm not feeling good. He goes, just start meditating. So I try to communicate, just talking, and then it just stopped and started going away. And then all of a sudden I hear 2 knocks to my left, and I don't know, it's a little bit, I don't know, but all I can say is that meditation kind of helped me, thanks to Rich. And I was just like, how does it, 1 minute I'm like this and I'm really feeling like crap. And then, and then Richie's like, meditate. And then you're trying to talk to them and just like, hey, we come in peace and what have you. And then it just stopped.
Interesting. Yeah, no, it was. And meditation for me has been huge through my sobriety and my spiritual journey and things like that. Meditation was huge. Hey, Crystal, what's happening? This is where you've been hiding, Crystal.
Crystal.
Over here with Animal? Come on, man.
She hides on my
show. What's going on? Blasphemy. Anyways, good to see you, Crystal. Thank you for the hello.
Yeah.
No, I meditation has always been huge for me, and it's always been something even as a kid, I would sit in a quiet corner and meditate. Then I got into martial arts for a long time, and meditation's huge in that, to prepare yourself for that and learn different ways to use your mind. So you don't feel pain like other people feel pain, physical pain. And then I used it to have my spiritual awakening when I got sober in 1997. So it's a huge thing, you know what I mean? So that's why my first thing is like, yo, bro, just kind of lock in and protect yourself. So that's what he did. And he said it helped and it worked. And I'd never seen him like that before. So it was kind of crazy, to even see him in that situation, really. I don't have access. It's funny. I just got over here. I'm like, yeah, let me pull up those pictures of those eyes. And I'm like, yeah, I don't have them because I'm not on my shit. Is that Jenny Davis?
Yeah. Hey, Jenny.
What's up, Jenny Davis? How you been, Jenny Davis? We should sing a song to Jenny Davis. You got any music in this studio? Hey, Jenny Davis. How you been? How you been, Jenny Davis? How you been?
How you doing? How you doing, Jenny Davis? How's it going?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you think about getting to the self-illuminating eyes and the stories that we kind of have shared with that? You know what I mean? We're still doing like a panel type thing, not necessarily like, what do you want to do? It's your show. I'm just here.
We're still talking about just the experience of Bigfoot, the woo. One thing I do want to talk about is that I know a lot of people and Bigfoot researchers have a lot of escalating about this is, we were talking about cloaking, right? Another thing that people think that Bigfoots do is they jump through wormholes, these kind of like torn veils. Kind of a thing, jumping in out of kind of like you see in a movie, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I've never heard much about that. Well, not wormholes, but orbs and portals and that part of the woo is pretty crazy. You know what I mean? Yeah, Jenny. So just so we don't have any odd. I love you, Jenny. Okay, everybody just need to step back from all that shit. We're good now. Moving on.
Yeah.
Climbing. Positive. love, light, and happiness. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
So we're done. The portals and the orbs and all that shit. You know what I mean? Again, this stuff is very hard for me to grasp. You have to understand, for 8 years, I stood at a fence line and listened to physical noises and breaking and vocals. And, it's so hard for me to grab, but it's happening to me. It's real. I haven't been to where, we have seen, I've seen, the mystery lights in Bridgewater Triangle. I didn't associate them with Bigfoot. I associated them with ghosts in the paranormal world. I didn't see any Bigfoots come out of those orbs. Nothing like that. I've never seen orb around a Bigfoot or around Bigfoot activity. I haven't seen a light come through and then get something chucked at me through the woods. We have had things thrown at us, by the way, through the woods in the dark. Not fun.
Yeah.
No. Especially when you can't see it.
No, yeah, it's pretty frightening, but I got to be honest. Can I be honest about this a little bit? I'm a little weird with that excitement, right? Wouldn't you have to say, WOJO, I kind of go towards it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I totally agree.
Like a horror movie.
Yeah, I am a horror movie. That's what I am. I go and hide in the shed with the chainsaws instead of getting in the running car. You know what I mean? Yeah, Jenny, absolutely.
We're like in that horror movie, you're not supposed to go in that house, but we're the people that go in the house.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah. But I get this weird exhilaration. Don't get me wrong, I'm fearful. I have fear when we were pitch black. We got out to the middle of my woods after being bluff charged earlier that evening through a bush. And we get out to the woods. I brought a select few with us. And I said, all right, everybody, lights out. And it was almost like a collective silence, okay. And
we were back to back, by the way.
Yeah, we were.
Wow.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden it was just dead silence, darkness. You could hear that low crawl again, which I've never seen the spider walk. I assume, oh, sweet Jenny. I assume that the spider walk is real because whenever I hear the noise or we see these illuminating eyes, we have seen them very low to the ground.
Yeah.
And we've heard the low crunching.
Yeah.
Little leaf scuffle, right? And we've heard that. And lights went out. And within 20 seconds of lights coming out, you hear a projectile come through the woods. Probably about 60, 70 yards from us. It was a stick and it was thrown upward. You could hear it start low. And it hit something like little branches. And then you could hear it climbing. And then you could hear it come back down. So you could tell through the trees and what it was hitting, the height and velocity of this thing. And then it bounced near me. I don't know if it was a stick. I'm just talking. It was pitch black. And then it bounced near us. You can hear it bounce in the leaves after. And immediately after that, you hear to our right, you hear this whistle. And actually, I went up on the hill between. I ran up on the hill. That's that weird energy I was going to use as an example. So it's off diagonal to our left, but I know there's this big hill mound here because I know my yard so well. So I ran up the thing to try to get a better perspective. And as soon as I got to the top of that hill, something down to the bottom right, he might have been 30 feet from me?
If that.
Yeah. And all of a sudden this loud whistle comes out of him.
Yeah.
30 feet right from me. And I'm like, okay, I'll go back down the hill. And then I said, WOJO goes, he's right there, dude.
He's right there. And you had that big spotlight too. And and for what Richie's saying, when you're in the dark, and I have the thermal and I can still hear movement. Richie's behind me, facing that direction that before he went in. I'm facing the opposite direction. I can hear movement because there's a lot of groves in this backyard, a lot of little hills and whatever. And I'm I could hear movement, and I got my thermal gun, and I can't see nothing. But then that velocity, that was amazing. It was just real quick, and then boom. I'm like, oh my God, they threw something, and it landed maybe about 20, at least 20, 25 feet away from us. It was loud.
Yeah.
But it was just a change of direction because we put the lights back on it and Richie's running right towards it, like he explained and everything. I mean, that is really intense moment because we, like Richie said, we were just bluff charged. I'm going, you got to be kidding me. They're throwing stuff.
No, they're throwing stuff at us. Yeah, and we were bluff charged. You can actually hear it on the live event. A little harder to hear because I have a bad habit of yelling, "What the fuck was that?"
You would do the front like that.
I don't know what to do. I do. I don't know what it is. It's a natural. What the fuck was that? I don't know. I'd be able to hear it more if you'd shut up, Rich. Great researcher, right? And,
they're like already gone.
Yeah,
they're like, fuck this guy. I'm going.
The bluff charge was funny because you could hear it run away. It was almost like it was tiptoeing through the tulips. It was like, and I'm like, what the fuck is this?
But Animal, where left is thick. I mean, you have to physically be low and move in between the thick brush.
Oh,
where
and
it
the
went
branches on the saplings are so tight they scratch you.
Yeah,
they'll scratch you, rip your clothes. That's how tight it is. And I'm like, the first reaction was, I'm with two hunters, and of course Joe's like, that's a deer, or that's a buck. And then he did it again, and he didn't take off. It was quiet. No. And then it was like, he goes, oh no, that's not a buck. It would have ran off.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you hear him stop moving. Yeah. And I'm like, dude, if that's a buck in that area, every piece of those antlers are getting stuck on everything. And there's no way. I can't even barely move in through there. There's no way a buck was.
Animal, it's like crazy. Like that. 3 times.
Oh yeah. Dude.
And I gathered myself, I could see it. I could see, I don't see 4 legs. You can see it just casually walking through these sticks. And then 3 to 4 minutes later, woo, 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 like that, like, haha, I was freaked out.
Yeah. So what do I say? Well, guys, let's wait a little bit and go further in the woods and shut our lights off.
Shut the lights off.
I brought some honey for my nipples. Who's joining me?
You brought the ranch and the honey. Peanut butter.
Hey, Bigfoot.
Oh,
yeah, not smart.
He's like doing it. He's like freaking
crazy, right?
Doing the cha-cha out there, son.
Oh, my kids. Tell you what a trip. You know what I mean? Yeah, that was crazy. But no, that's crazy. When you talk about that, and it's funny because talking about the eyes, we didn't have any of that really that night. You know what I mean?
Well, no, but hold on. But the night before, we had a night investigation in the other place.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. But no. I'm talking about my backyard that night.
Oh, no, we didn't. No.
Yeah, no, not before that. I'm not saying it never existed. I'm saying that night with all that activity, there wasn't any self-illuminating eyes.
No.
But the other place, it's like they're Curious George.
Yeah. Remember they're up in the trees that we used to
Yeah. Well, let me just go here, and then you can do your thing, if you don't mind. Is it okay, Animal? Did you have a specific question for one of us, sir? Because you're doing an interview, or are we hanging out?
No, we're hanging out. We're talking about Bigfoot, but there is one question I did.
I knew we had something. I knew it. I smelt it.
I always
smelled ranch. I smelled ranch dressing all over the microphone. Go ahead.
I think it's all over my floor.
Oh, dude, I think I just pissed myself on that one.
No doubt. Hello, Tim Vogel. What's your question? Someone's got to run the show around here. He can't.
Have you ever had the experience when you're Bigfooting out there in the dark where something like pushed you or grabbed you, like in a cloaking sense of form, like you felt something like a presence?
Yeah. I think that's a good question because I got to be a few times I've snapped my head around. I've looked at WOJO and said, "Did you just walk by me?" I've said that because I felt
you did a few weeks ago.
I thought I said it yesterday. Actually, I was like, "Did you just walk by me?" Because I could literally feel like something was like right by me, like right here, and I have felt that a few times. I've never been touched in a sense where I'm like, "Oh my god," I've been touched by a ghost. I can.
Oh my bad! It was the last night investigation with the shadow.
Oh yeah, don't get me going with that shit. I've been a few night investigations. See, I don't mind Bigfoot. I can hang with Bigfoot. I'm all set with the ghost stuff. I've already done that. I've watched people get scratched and bring shit home with them. I'm not doing that. I got too many kids. I stopped doing that. Bigfoot, I feel like I could walk up. I feel. Listen, this might be a dumb statement. I feel like I could walk up, and be like, "Yo, what's up? It's me, Richie B, bro." You know what I mean? And then on top of it, I go, "Well, that's a dumb thought." And then I go, "Well, if you died by Bigfoot's hands, right? Then what a great way to die." Right. Yeah. I mean, you could take a Lamborghini to the Autobahn and do 220 miles an hour into a tree. That's pretty cool. That's pretty historic. Yeah. But So I don't even worry about. I don't even think twice about it. You know what I mean? I'm not.
Could you imagine being murdered by a Bigfoot and all of a sudden, like my friend, like one of your friends are like, and he's doing his thing. He's like, "Oh, what did he get? What happened? A Bigfoot killed him. What? No, that can't happen.
WOJO's
That
in
can't
handcuffs.
happen.
WOJO's in handcuffs.
WOJO's in handcuffs. Like, I swear it was a Bigfoot that killed him. I swear."
You don't watch the podcast, sir. You know what I mean? What is wrong with you?
You gotta watch the show.
Well, I always told if anything happens, WOJO, I'll throw WOJO the camera. He'll have the phone. He'll be able to record it. Because what's he gonna do? Save my life? So he'll be able to record it, right? But would anyone? Right? Exactly, Crystal. That's the point. Is WOJO would go to jail for killing me? You can never collect life insurance. But I listen. I have a pact I'm going to make with all of you. The mysterious question of Sasquatch is his private parts. Is it a dog or is it a human? Right? We've all had this funny little joke amongst researchers. I will yell out what it is as I'm dying. Okay, so you guys know, you human or dog. That's what you're going to hear. You're going to know what it means. Do you understand? I'm going to do the world that favor. Yes, I'm going to grab Bigfoot. I'm going to grab Bigfoot's junk right before I die. Yes,
it's the animal's back here.
Well, I've been asked this question.
What?
I've been asked this question one time, and a good friend, Michael, from Para with a Normal, if you know them, if you watch the show, he asked me this question: does a female Squatch have 6 nipples or 2 nipples? That's what he asked me. Or does a male have 2 nipples?
Oh,
that's what he asked me. That's what he asked.
No. I see what he means. No. Do they have a litter, or do they gestate like humans? So that's basically what he's asking, and I 100% believe it's from even look at the Patty film, right? Look at the Patty Gimlet Pat, right? And you look at Patty on that. To me, there's clearly breasts. I believe in that film. I've watched it verbatim over and over again, to the 10th degree. And there's muscle matter, there's muscle movement. There's, you could see where the tendons operate if you really get into it, especially with all the technology nowadays. I think that she had a baby off in the line, and that there was a female Bigfoot that had breasts, and that was that. So, I think it's 2. That would be my answer. That's my researcher's answer.
Yeah, it's not a cow on 2 legs here. I mean,
right. And all right, yeah. So, I was talking about the eyes. Can we go to the eyes? So you see the logo behind me.
Are these eyes?
Yeah, that's a nice eye you got there. You see the logo behind me, everybody? You see that? Your internet sucks tonight, animal. You see the logo behind me, everybody?
Yeah.
So the red eyes in this logo behind me are based off of my witness, my account. All right. And that's one of the things like Bobby Lee and I talked about and blah, blah, blah. I think WOJO was everybody was in on that. WOJO named him Jackson. Female is only 2. They only 1 or twin baby. Correct. A human type gestation. So when we were in the woods and we had been having these eyes experiences and these lights and, honestly, there's a junkyard over here. There's a house across the street. When you're coming up this path where we mostly see them, and I've seen them further into the woods. This isn't the only spot that we've seen them, just to reiterate, to clarify. So as we're coming out, but I know there's only 2 like porch lights way off up over a crest and down.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden there's 8 of them in the woods, like beady little lights. And you look at them and they almost like illuminate like yellow and green and almost like your letter and stuff. And white. And I'm sitting here taking this in and I'm just looking, I'm being subjective and I'm looking at it going, oh, fuck is this? Like, what is happening? Like right now, what is happening? You're talking to somebody who's seen a ghost, who's dealt with Bigfoot in a lot of ways, and that has been out in the woods, has been in haunted houses, blah, 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 right? And I'm sitting here looking at the woods going, what the fuck is happening? Right? I didn't want to grab it at first, you know what I mean? And run with it or anything. So I'm standing there just watching everybody's reactions. I'm watching what's in the woods. The lights are low to the ground. Mm-hmm. There is a crest. I'm taking all this in scientifically in my head, trying to be a researcher the best I can. and not just yell Bigfoot at every damn thing. And I all of a sudden I look up to my left. There's this huge pine tree. It's up on a hill, and then the crest drops off. So the hill's up here. What's this? I have to ghost y'all. Really? I need to pick up my daughter and boyfriend.
You filthy animals.
It's great seeing you, Crystal.
Yeah, Crystal. Banter and Richie B podcast, 6 p.m. Eastern time on Saturday nights. Okay, bye. You filthy animal. So I look up to my left, and I see this. It was big. It was big. It was a big round red eye or red circle light. I don't know. Again, I didn't go over and poke it. I have no idea. So I see one, and I'm staring at it, and I don't say anything. WOJO's next to me, but I'm not saying nothing. Like, this is my moment. I'm going to see what happens here. Because now it's pulled me off the ground and made me come up here. And it was like it almost felt my doubt. It's like it almost felt what I was thinking as far as the porches, the lights, and the house is way over there, and I'm trying to really be rational to the point of exaggeration in my own head just to try to make it something with substance, right? And so I did this, and all of a sudden I'm staring at it, and it's on the live. I thought I held it up. Seriously, when this stuff happens to you, sometimes you have these profound moments. It's so hard to remember little teeny details. Like, sometimes I'm crystal clear, and other times I'm nothing. I'm like, I think that happened. That was crazy. You know what I mean? But the details of this, the thing I do remember so vividly, like 4K, and I look up and I see this. His head goes, he's like, look, I now attest to him being behind a tree. So that's the one red light that I saw. And then all of a sudden, the second one comes out. And not only does it come out like straight, it wasn't doing that. It did an exaggeration of the neck and head like this. And then he lifted his head back up almost in full rotation and put his eye back just like that. And you can hear me saying, oh my God, that's a head and a neck. That's a head and a neck. He's moving his head and a neck. And I was like he's trying to, like, he knew what I was saying or thinking, you know what I mean? So it was quite profound. Something that I wasn't ready to grasp. I'm still not totally 100% ready to grasp it. I know what I saw. I know what I felt. I know what the rational part of my body decided it was. And I know I saw a head, and I know I saw a neck, and I know it was overly exaggerated to convince me what I was seeing was what I was seeing. And it's time to get on board with it. And I'm not 100% on board, but I'd have to say I saw self-illuminating eyes to the point where I come home and called Ernie Pack and was excited to talk to him just to find out that this little loser you got on the other screen called him before me. Yeah, you look at the screen. That's on your show, remember? Remember the night on your show when Ernie says,
yeah.
I got something to tell you?
I was so weirded out, man. We were on a different level. I mean, it was just
we were flying high, dude. I was like, I didn't know who to call, and I knew all their experiences that were similar, like you, like researchers. We reach out to others. We don't have ego problems. No. We want to share and talk and figure it out, and that's what we both did that night with Ernie. And he'll tell you how fucking pumped up we were, man. I was like,
like animal, like the two things that pop in my mind of what we're seeing. Is that me and Richie were just sitting there and we're watching there's one like really like crouched down to the ground, probably about like 3-4 feet off the ground. But he was the one that was getting closer. And you know, folks, when you're out there, you try to be still. You're just trying to find a point where you want to see like some sort of movement. Like, you know, you don't want to do this, you just don't want to move. You want to see, what am I looking at? Okay. Then you see two dots. Then you see like 2 dots.
Nope.
And then I go, well, Richie, this one's getting close. He goes, I know. All of a sudden, it went from 3 to 4 feet. It went up like an elevator. And I just said, oh my God. Remember, I was like loud about it. Oh my God, it's standing up or something. It went from 3 to 4 feet to like, it seemed like 8+.
Yep.
I've never seen anything like that in my life that just went up, and I was like, wow. And I think that what threw us off was that we're paying attention to what's going on here, but something was walking like literally behind us, probably about like 20 feet. Kept hearing snaps, and Richie kept turning on. He goes, dude, I think it's time to go. He goes, I don't know who's behind us, but something's behind us, and it's not that far away. Yep. And so we bailed.
It was walking up. It was walking up on us.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so, so now we go to our vehicles, and there's a little patch of woods, and again, same thing. So I'm thinking, what is this? Like an extended family? Like they're I don't know what I'm looking at again. All I remember is, all right, we're saying goodbye, whatever. And I decided to be the last vehicle out of there. And, there goes Richie, there goes Lisa. They're all driving away. And as I moved, I stopped, and I could see the one that's like, it really gives off a major glow. And all of a sudden I saw it just like turn it was turning its head, watching them leave like this. I go, oh my God, its head's turning.
Yep.
Did this. There were two of them. There was like a much, like, it seemed like a taller one and a shorter one. And all I remember is like they looked, and then it's back on me. And I had my window down. All right, hey, listen, nice seeing you. Hey, like and subscribe, and enjoy the peanut butter. See you later. I freaked out. I'm calling him, dude. They watched you leave because I saw the head turn, and that was like both of them at the same time. That was just a mess.
Yep,
but it was cool.
Why do you think they haven't come with full-on visual? Well, I don't know. I think it's a dynamics thing. I think that's a great question, if I may answer that, Mr. Show Host. I think that's a great question. And I think it's a family dynamic. I think that's part of the answers to that. I think we're dealing with more juveniles, less than juveniles, like I'm going to say like a big kid, and now a small one probably. So I think we're dealing with something like that, and I think that becomes part of the protection thing, right? Safety thing, teaching thing. So I think that all comes into play, and like for instance, I've shown this a few times. This little print right here. Everybody can see that one. Most people have seen it, but you can see the ripples in the foot and the crease in the foot. And the toe right here, you can see clamping. So that my point of showing you that is that there's something smaller out there than we thought. We felt the juvenile was 14 inches and blah blah blah. Now there's a 12 and a 12 by 6, and now this one's 8 by 3. So my point being to all that rattling off of D Hoot's good question is I think they're being taught to not not visualize, be fully visual. I think they're being taught because we've heard screams from the woods just 2 investigations ago. We have it on recording, and we just came from that area. And let me tell you something too, by the way, sounds you can pick up over here or down here or middle, you could tell the height. And that's why a lot of times when people say, oh, that's a bird, that's a bird. I'm like, no, well, what's it doing on the ground then?
Or an owl.
Yeah, or an owl. I'm like, what's it doing over there on the ground? I could tell how high up it is. And you get used to these sounds, but one of them screamed, and it sounded like an adolescent. And we had just come down that path from the Farley, headed back towards the huts, and you just heard this, but it was like a little kid.
Animal. Right? Have you ever watched that show, Home Improvement?
Oh
yeah, I love that show.
All right, the neighbor. The guy that, he's like this on the fence, like you only see like this much of his body.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Wilson.
Yep.
Wilson, thank you. So to add more to D Hoot's question, you never see his full self in that show. It's always like this.
Yep.
It's kind of like the same thing, D Hoot. And that's what we've just been seeing. And I think it's like a good neighbor, bad neighbor. I would say more good neighbor because they haven't done anything to us yet. But
yeah, they haven't killed us.
What about you, Animal?
I don't know.
What's your take on the glow or out in the woods? Because I know you've been to your parents' house.
Oh, I've seen tons of stuff that's weird that come out of those woods, especially having the Bigfoot experience there too with like I told you with the cloaking experience that I've had and the Bigfoot prints that I've seen and also casted that I have there at my family's house. But yeah, I have seen what the weird thing is too. There's also, if you think about, there's also owls too that they're that light up also. So it all depends.
Are they self-illuminating or eye shine?
It's eye shine.
Yeah.
More of,
yeah.
I believe that the owls can do the self-illumination, but
really?
Yeah. But again, there would have, that night there have to be yeah, thank you. If that's the case, then there was probably about what, 6 owls. There's no way like that low to the ground.
Yeah.
They could be obviously, height wise, but again, if we were walking towards them, I think they would have moved or be spooked or what have you. I mean, look, these shines are second to none. And they're all like different colors, but like Tim and Renee Gayhart from Ohio Bigfoot Research, they just had a video and they demonstrated how, like, turning off the lights, and you see the glows and what have you, that they're still there. And it's also moving back and forth, like Richie just explained. Like it again, it's being shared across the country, and it just happens, where we are.
That's why we don't want to be gatekeepers, right? And we're grateful. Exactly. We're grateful for Ohio Bigfoot researchers. Renee's out there working and sharing her work with people. So I don't necessarily have to track it down. I can see it, and I let WOJO know. I go, yo, check this out. Owls do not have self-illuminating eyes.
Okay.
I repeat, I do not. They do not. Thank you. They will reflect in light. Yes. So that kind of theory is out the window.
Good.
But the gatekeeping thing, it helps. But the gatekeeping thing is huge. And having somebody like Renee out there, Tim's wife from Ohio Bigfoot Researchers, sharing her stuff, I just saw it and sent it to WOJO. And I said, bro, this looks exactly like what we were looking at. Low to the freaking ground again.
Low.
That's that spider crawl stuff people talk about that I have a hard time buying into.
But also, I think that when they had the lights like kind of nearby or whatever shining, if you notice our animal, what they do is they tend to like move into a different spot. So if they're like right here, they're down like in a, kind of like hidden, but you can still see that little dot, like that little glow. It's still looking at you, and it's kind of like trying to dodge the light, like like flashlight tag. They'll look. It's like a search party. It's kind of doing this. I mean, that's what we see a lot. Yes, exactly. You guys use that too. Yes, and the IR lights, and it's just amazing that.
Yeah, but I'm sorry. But if Tim says that they're using an IR light, that'll cause light shine, won't it? Wouldn't that? Because if a deer walks up to a camera, do the eyes light up from the flash of the camera, or it doesn't have a flash? It's an IR light.
I think they light up.
Yeah.
Well, I think they'll be.
Because I saw him shutting everything off, Tim. I saw him.
No, yeah, but he had the red light.
That little red light ain't gonna light up eyes like that.
No, but I'm just saying that I think that maybe their point is like different. Different lights. It's not gonna change anything, and we have a video like at Lisa's house. Like you could see, the eye, like the head turning. You can hear the snaps, like they're walking.
Well, can I? Yeah, to clarify that too. Speaking of, this is a great part of the woo. Actually, we had this experience. What, 8 miles from her house?
10 miles. Yep.
Well, 10 miles. So about 10 miles from her house. She's new to researching. This is definitely her first experience with self-illuminating eyes, or at least building up to this point. There was a couple before that built up to this point, but this was the massive moment to where it said, yes, this is what you're seeing. 10 miles away, she was on our podcast. But I don't think it was it wasn't the same night, right? It was the next night.
When they first revealed themselves.
Yeah, was that the same night or no? Because it was
that was that night. That was the night.
Our show was on though.
So I'm sorry. Yeah, that was the following night.
Yeah, we were out Friday night, and then Saturday was the show.
Yes,
and she was on our show, and I think D Hoot and Sam noticed.
Yes, D Hoot. Yep.
And what's wrong with Lisa? Well, I didn't know what was wrong with Lisa till after my show was over. We get on the phone with her. WOJO was talking to her, and those eyes were in her woods. She's sitting on her back porch during the podcast.
Yep.
And off to her right, the eyes that she lives in a neighborhood that's, it's not desolate. It's not out in the woods.
Right.
She has a little strip of trees. And
it's like 89 feet. Yeah. So not big.
And I'm over here trying to debunk it. So I'm like, well, we'll see what happens. Well, the next night they came back again. And then we got the pictures and I'm drawing the lines and showing where they are, where they weren't. So what my point was, it wasn't a stationary reflective light. And they've never been back. And so what do you say about that?
Well, on that part, right? So she did turn off the back porch light animal off and on. But it also shows when she's taking these pictures that the eye shine moved in different spots.
Mm-hmm.
But you also see other eye shines too. There had to be about 3 of them. Now, I know her boyfriend, Mike. He's a dear friend of mine. And his sister happened to come down the following day for the week. And so she called me and she goes, they're out there again. I go, really? But the only problem is she's going to leave them a gift or something, which she did before. She sliced up a piece of pie actually the first night.
Yes.
And they ate it. Mm. And now they show up the second time, but the sister was there.
Mm.
They're afraid to alert, the family that, hey, there's Bigfoot in the backyard, whatever. So they didn't go out there. So it's like animal, I don't know, your wife's at her parents' house and you want to stop by and say hello. And the light's on. Hey, how's it going? The light's on. But if the light's off, that means they're all sleeping. So it's kind of like that neighbor thing, good neighbor, bad neighbor type deal. Like, hey, the lights are off. That means no one's home. So that's why they stopped coming.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I could see that, but the point is, it's 10 miles from where we've had the experience.
Exactly.
Somehow, she had the very same experience in her backyard the night after, and the night after that, 10 miles away. How's that possible? Is that part of that's part of the woo, right? I mean, she must have been marked.
Has
right?
to be.
She must have been marked, and they knew where she was. They've never been back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, our friend Ernie Davio made a good point. So, grizzly bears. I mean, deer can smell us up to over a mile. Okay, they smell human nearby. Yeah, but grizzly bears can smell a specific smell. They can smell an animal from 20 miles, up to 20 miles. Why can't these creatures not smell up to 20 miles? But again, Lisa was out with us in the woods. She was calm, even though she was digging into my arm, going, "Oh my God, they're right there." But again, the woo factor is the smell, the scent. Is as Ernie may say, 20 miles to them is nothing. Yeah. And kind of like Jordan, Richie. From them to go from one destination to another.
Yep.
It takes them no time.
Yep.
And the red and green eyes that we kept seeing showed up at their house.
Yep.
It's weird.
Do you wants to get the hell out of here?
Hey, WOJO, speaking about scent, I'm smelling an idea about the scent. Maybe since they got non-deer scent smell, when you go hunting, they should make a for Bigfoot hunters so they don't sense us. That'd be a good idea. That'd be a good marketing.
It's like idea. that dirt, earth spray and all that stuff. Let me tell you something. Yeah. These creatures are this is their woods. They are out there 24/7. We're in a house talking to each other. We're on screen. We're playing video games, doing whatever. All they do is, being out in the backwoods. Either they're eating, just roaming around, making structures. Who knows? But that's that's why they are, the forest people. They are the masters of the forest.
Yeah.
And being flanked and all that stuff. I mean, again, like I always tell Rich, it's just like, big hairy creatures out there that are like Elon Musk's. Like their intelligence is second to none out there. And it's just unbelievable.
Well, let me ask you guys this question. I want this to be the last one of the Woo series. I know we're going to have many more Woo series here because there's so much more here that we could talk about forever. And I'm sure we're going to be talking about so much more of it. But there is another thing about the Woo I do want to talk about, and that's the language of the Bigfoot, of the Woo. Because as people, I think we talked about it, Richie, about the language. Some people said there's like a different dialogue sometimes when Bigfoot talk to each other. Do you have an explanation about that?
Again, I think that's where a lot of my beliefs started shifting. Really?
Yeah.
Sorry. I believe a tornado's up there wrecking stuff. He's 2 years old. He weighs 26 pounds, and he will wreck this house in 20 minutes flat. And that's because he's enjoying himself.
My daughter.
But I think that's where my beliefs started to change. The more I started researching, when I first heard them speaking to each other in my backyard, along with two other researchers, and we heard them talk, it was 100% a language. It was 100% a conversation between them. I feel it was about us. And they 100% ended it with each of them.
Wow.
And it went back and forth. We sat there with our mouths on the ground. And then when we got the recording recently underneath the gifting chair of them approaching the gifting chair, and that's where you now see us on the lives where WOJO goes, huh, and I go, blap, blap. And that was sent off to a friend of the Vogels, who's a linguist. And he put it in a very high rate as far, again, he doesn't have Bigfoot in front of him. He can't really say, but he does have it as a vocal and a language, basically, like they're talking to each other, like communication. So that's where I started going towards primitive human, more so than anything to do with the Woo in a sense. I believe, but I do part of that with the Woo. I will add this. I truly believe they're on a different frequency than us. And I truly believe they communicate on a different frequency than us. And that's why you might not be able to hear it with your ears, but you can pick it up with a recorder, much like an EVP. And I'm truly, truly finding that out through research, not just making shit up in my head because I want to be different. This is research that we have. We have the recordings. We've had the experience, and that's that. Tornado. Yeah, just step on the electrical cords.
Like the animal, to add is that it's very short. Like mispronunciation, kind of like a deaf person when they try to speak, it's very short language. Honestly, it's like mispronunciation that they call it, and that's what you hear in the woods. Not only have I heard the recordings, I've heard this type of talking in the woods on several occasions. Can't explain it, man.
But the Woo factor with the language and the talking is definitely the frequency.
Exactly.
Yep, that's what I believe. Yeah. Well, that's what we found out through research. How's that?
Right.
What I believe.
And
tornadoes here.
Oh.
He threw one of my heavy balls. I have a heavy ball.
But one other thing too, Rich, in Animal, I noticed that D Hood had she thinks that if you think you're in person encounter, if we're gonna get a personal encounter, it'll happen with no cameras rolling. That's 100%. It's a good 100% probability on that.
Yep.
And maybe one of these days we'll just go out in the woods and not have anything roll for, let's say, an hour, and the minute I don't know. if something happens, we're live. Welcome to Banter with Richie, an animal. Hey, look what we got. Hey, would you like to say something, Bob? Bruh. Okay, back to you, Susan. Right?
Yeah, I'm determined to make sure I have YouTube Live going all the time.
I agree.
Well, you know what? Speaking about that,
can they still see me?
Yeah, we can
my
see
monitors. You. My monitor's black. The tornado came through and wiped out my monitor.
Well, speaking about coming together, June 7th, I will be up there with you guys, and we're gonna have a load of fun, and we're gonna be bigfooting and speaking and having a live show. So it's gonna be a lot of fun. The Vogel Brothers. So
it's going to be a blast with the Vogel Brothers at the Cobble Mountain Critter Festival. Everybody, make sure you join us. Can I just say one thing on the way out the door that I didn't say on my show? The month of May.
Oh yeah.
The month of May carries Mother's Day, and Mother's Day is very near and dear to my heart. Obviously, I just lost my mom, and this will be the first Mother's Day without my mother. And the month of May, from now on, here going forward, will be the Women of Bigfoot every month of May. And this month, we already have a lineup coming up. We have one more spot to fill. And I have the person that obviously I want. We have Sam on the 3rd with her experiences in her backyard. We have Elder Bear Claw on the 10th. And WOJO, what was the
Mary Fabian on the 17th.
The founder of Pennsylvania, right? That's the Pennsylvania. Yep. What's the name of the page?
I'm sorry. It's
Pennsylvania Bigfoot Research. So that's Mary, and then we just
we have Levon Helva on May 24th. I'll tell you, we have some amazing ladies lined up.
No luck.
And also too, Rich, Dark Realm TV.
Where fear lives.
Yep.
Where fear lives.
Dark Realm TV.
Yeah, you can find us all on Dark Realm TV, by the way, and every Roku television around the world on Dark Realm TV and every Amazon Fire Stick. Let's go. We are on Dark Realm TV along with Animal Expedition Files. Make sure you guys subscribe to that, please, and thank you. And what does it go, Wojo?
So you will see this show on Dark Realm TV, also this episode and the episode before this. So of the Woo, so there'll be a 2-part series that we will posting hopefully pretty soon. Yeah, dude, this is amazing. I love collaborating with you guys and talking to you every day.
Same here. Thank you.
Talk about this, and I can't wait to come with you guys up to the Triangle and just hanging out and having Bigfoot experiences together and to be able to bond like that as brothers and be able to have just a good time and shoot the shit. So it's gonna be an amazing time, and I can't wait.
Yeah, Richie, we'll duct tape them to the tree and smear them with like peanut butter and walk away and see if anything happens.
I would do that. I would actually do that because I'm one of those people that would love to do that.
Would you like some peanut butter?
I'm in on that. You know I am. I just can't see anything.
Yeah.
I love being in the dark. If a Sasquatch touches me, I'd be well. No, I ain't gonna say that.
Back to the ranch dressing.
He's gonna you baby touch this thing. He's gonna sound like ranch dressing.
Weirdos.
Ranch dressing.
Awesome.
Oh shit! We gotta close the show.
I told you to do it.
Well, everybody, thank you so much for joining the Animal Expedition Files. Everybody, check out Squatch Juice, Dark Realm TV. But if you look at the QR code right there, click it and check out Squatch Juice. And you could click on my code AEF10, and we're gonna play this quick video for you to explain you a little bit about Squatch Juice. I hope everybody has a good weekend and a good night. If they're bigfooting right now, please be nice to Bigfoot. He's a
bring
good
your
guy.
ranch dressing. He loves ranch.
Bring your ranch dressing. All right, guys. You guys have a good night, and we will.
Good night,
see
everybody.
You later.
Keep climbing.
Oh yeah, Animal X.
This is Squatch Juice, our all-natural energy drink and hydration drink. This is Brandon, our no. This is well, maybe. No. Yeah, this is Brandon, our CEO and founder. A little over a year and a half ago, Brandon had the idea to create a brand that is so much more than just a drink brand. This is our Squash Juice team, minus Mike. Wish you were there, Mike. But we are all super passionate about not just having a healthy alternative to what we feel like is a lot of junk out there on the market, but we truly believe that we can change lives with our drink. So our entire goal, kind of what drives us as a company, is combating the mental health epidemic that's going on in the country. See, we really believe that what we put in our bodies, the food and drink that we eat, has a direct effect on our mind and our mental health. We actually donate 5% of all of our net proceeds back to organizations that combat the mental health epidemic. Right now, we're donating to Push for Patriots. They are a veteran organization that helps prevent veteran suicide. Brandon's motivation has always been people and relationships. Honestly, Brandon couldn't care less about money. Obviously, we need money to help sustain us as a business, but Brandon is so incredibly passionate about people. So if you guys want to see more about us, learn who we are, follow along here, go to our website, check out our mission statement. But here at Squash Juice, we truly do care about people, and our product is always going to be second to that. So if you want to help support a really important cause and a really important mission, follow.
Lights on. Dark Realm TV. Coming soon.